Welcome to True Crime Files Gist, your ultimate destination for the most gripping, real-life mysteries that keep you up at night. Here on this channel, we dive deep into the darkest corners of true crime. From unsolved murders and chilling disappearances to shocking heists and twisted serial killer tales, we investigate the facts, uncover hidden details, and bring you the stories that the headlines barely scratch. If you're obsessed with the thrill of the unknown, the psychology behind crimes, and the pursuit of justice, you're in the right place. We drop fresh episodes every week, packed with exclusive insights, expert interviews, and mind-blowing revelations you won't find anywhere else. Don't miss out on the hottest true crime updates. Hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications and join our community of truth seekers. Let's unravel the mysteries together. What case should we cover next? Drop it in the comments below. Rain hammered the asphalt like fists. My headlights caught her first, a barefoot woman stumbling into the center lane, arms flailing. I slammed the brakes. The rig screamed to a halt, air brakes hissing steam into the storm. She collapsed against my bumper, hands pressed to the metal like it was an altar. I jumped down, rain soaking through my shirt in seconds. "Ma'am, are you hurt?" Her face tilted up, mud smeared across her cheeks, blood crusted under her nails. Her eyes were hollow, like someone had scooped out everything behind them. She grabbed my wrist with both hands, fingers digging in. "They're alive," she gasped. "They're still alive." "Who's alive? Where?" She pointed back toward the tree line, toward nothing but black woods and rain. "The house. You have to go. Please." Her voice cracked. "Please." I fumbled for my phone, dialed 911. She kept repeating the same address over and over, like a prayer she didn't believe would be answered. When the sirens finally rose in the distance, she went silent, just stood there shaking, staring at the trees like something might follow her out. The patrol car pulled up. An officer stepped out, flashlights sweeping over her. He looked at me first, not her. That should have been my first clue. But I was just a truck driver trying to get home. I didn't know yet what I'd stumbled into. The hospital smelled like disinfectant and old coffee. I sat in the waiting room, still dripping, watching through the glass partition as they led her to a bed. Her name, I learned later, was Amber Hayes, 24 years old, nursing student. Last seen 3 days ago, leaving her shift at Mercy General. An officer stood by her bedside, arms crossed, notepad out. I couldn't hear the conversation, but I saw her body language, leaning forward, pleading, pointing. He wrote nothing down, just stood there nodding like he was humoring a child. A nurse came over to me. "You can go, sir. We got her information. Is she okay?" The nurse glanced back at Amber, then lowered her voice. "She's been through something, but there's no evidence of a crime. No injuries consistent with her story." "What story?" She hesitated. She says she was held captive, that there are others still there. But the officers checked the address she gave. It's an abandoned property. Nothing inside. I felt something twist in my gut. She seemed pretty sure. "Trauma does strange things to memory," the nurse said softly. Then she walked away. Through the glass, I watched the officer close his notebook. He patted Amber's shoulder once, then left. She sat alone on that bed, staring at her hands. I wanted to go in to tell her I believed her, but I didn't even believe myself yet. I couldn't shake it. For 3 days, Amber's face haunted me. The way she'd said they're alive, not help me, not save me. She wasn't thinking about herself. She was thinking about whoever she'd left behind. I started digging, found the police report online, filed under wellness check, unfounded. No follow-up investigation. No search teams. Just a single note. Subject displayed signs of possible psychosis or substance influence. No evidence of criminal activity. That didn't sit right. I'd seen her eyes. She wasn't high. She was terrified. I drove out to the address she'd given. 1447 Barker Road. The GPS took me down a dirt path that ended at a rusted gate. Beyond it, a house sagged into the earth, windows boarded, porch collapsed. Yellow tape hung limp from the doorframe, faded and torn. I stood there in the rain, staring. The place looked dead, but something about it felt wrong. The silence was too thick, too deliberate, like the house was holding its breath. I took photos, noted the overgrown driveway, the mailbox bent sideways. Then I got back in my truck and called the only person I trusted, my brother, a retired detective named Marcus. "I need you to look into something," I said, "and I need you to believe me when I say it matters." Before Amber stumbled into my headlights, her life looked ordinary. She lived with her grandmother in a small rental on the edge of town. She worked nights at the hospital, studied during the day, and spent Sundays at church. Her friends described her as quiet, dependable kind. Marcus pulled her file. She reported someone suspicious 6 weeks before she disappeared, he told me over the phone. A man named Daniel Cole. He'd been doing odd jobs in her neighborhood. She said he made her uncomfortable, but the tip line didn't follow up. Why not? Because Daniel Cole was a volunteer with the sheriff's department. He helped run community outreach programs, fix things for elderly folks. Everyone loved him. My stomach dropped. Where is he now? That's the thing, Marcus said. He's gone. Disappeared right around the time Amber went missing. His house was foreclosed 2 months ago. No forwarding address. I sat back, heart pounding. That's the house, isn't it? 1447, Barker Road. Marcus went quiet. "I'll meet you there tomorrow. Don't go back alone." But I couldn't wait. That night, I drove back to Barker Road, parked down the street, and walked to the gate. The wind rattled the boards. Somewhere inside, I swore I heard something shift. A creak, a scrape, like the house was alive. Marcus arrived at dawn, bringing 2 thermoses of coffee and a crowbar. He looked older than I remembered, gray creeping into his beard, lines deeper around his eyes. But his hands were steady as he pried the boards off the front door. "If someone's inside, we call it in," he said. "We don't play hero." The door swung open. The smell hit us first. Mildew, rot, something sour underneath. We stepped inside, flashlights cutting through the dark. The living room was stripped bare. No furniture, no curtains. Just water-stained walls and a floor that sagged in the center. "Looks empty," Marcus muttered. But I couldn't shake the feeling. She was here. I know she was. We moved through the house. Kitchen, bathroom, 2 bedrooms. All empty. Marcus was about to call it when I noticed something. A faint scuff mark on the floor near the back wall. Like something heavy had been dragged. I knelt down, pressing on the floorboards. One creaked louder than the rest. Marcus came over, pried it up with a crowbar. Beneath it, a metal latch. We looked at each other. He pulled it open. A narrow staircase descended into black. "There's your basement," Marcus said quietly. We climbed down. The air grew colder, damper. At the bottom, our lights found a room. Bare concrete, rusted chains bolted to the wall, and something that made my blood freeze. Scratch marks. Deep gouges in the stone, like someone had clawed at it for hours. Marcus called it in. Within an hour, the property was swarming. Patrol cars, forensic vans, yellow tape stretched across the perimeter. I stood outside, watching them carry evidence bags out one by one. A shoe, a torn jacket, a Polaroid camera with film still inside. A detective named Paula Ortiz approached me. She was sharp-eyed, no nonsense, with a voice that cut through noise. "You're the trucker who found her?" "Yes, ma'am." "And you're the one who opened this place up?" "My brother and I..." She studied me for a long moment. The girl, Amber Hayes. She told us there were others. We didn't believe her. We thought she was confused, maybe delusional. But now, she gestured toward the house. "Now we don't know what we're dealing with. Have you found anyone else?" Her face hardened. "Not yet, but we're still searching." They brought in ground-penetrating radar, cadaver dogs, excavation crews. For 3 days, they tore that property apart. And on the 3rd day, they found it. A hidden crawl space beneath the basement, sealed with cinder blocks. Inside, compartments, small, dark, lined with fabric. In one, they found a hospital bracelet. In another, a driver's license belonging to a woman reported missing 2 years earlier. No bodies, but enough evidence to know that Amber wasn't the first, and maybe not the last. I visited Amber at a safe house the department had arranged. She sat by the window, wrapped in a blanket, staring out at nothing. When I walked in, She didn't look at me at first, just kept staring. "You came back," she said finally. Her voice was flat, hollow. "I had to. I needed to know if you were okay." She laughed, a bitter, broken sound. "Okay." They didn't believe me. I told them everything, and they said I was lying, that I was crazy. "I believe you." She turned then, eyes red-rimmed. "Do you? Or do you just feel guilty?" That hit harder than I expected. Maybe both. She looked back out the window. "He told me no one would come. That no one ever does." And he was right. "Who is he?" "Daniel Cole." She flinched at the name. "He seems so normal. That's what everyone says, right?" But I saw him. I saw what he kept in that house. And when I got out, when I ran to the road, and you stopped, I thought it was over. I thought I'd be safe. Her voice cracked, but they didn't believe me. They let him walk away. I wanted to tell her it would be different now, that they'd find him, lock him up, make it right. But I couldn't lie. Not to her. Marcus and Detective Ortiz started piecing together Daniel Cole's history. What they found was chilling. He'd been living under the radar for years. No fixed address, no regular employment. But he'd volunteered everywhere. Churches, community centers, police fundraisers. He was the guy who helped little old ladies with their groceries, who fixed leaky faucets for single mothers. He had access, Ortiz said, spreading photos across her desk, to vulnerable people, women living alone, transients, anyone who wouldn't be immediately missed. How did he choose them? I asked. Carefully. He built trust first. Took his time. By the time they realized what was happening, it was too late. Marcus pulled up a list of missing persons cases spanning 5 years. 6 women, all within a 20-mile radius of Cole's last known residence. None connected until now. He was smart, Marcus said. Kept them isolated, moved around, covered his tracks. And when people did report him, the complaints got buried. What? Ortiz's jaw tightened. Because he was one of us. A volunteer. A donor. Someone we trusted. And when trust is involved, people don't ask the hard questions. I thought about Amber, standing in that ER, begging someone to listen. And I thought about how close we'd come to never finding that basement. If I hadn't stopped, if Marcus hadn't believed me, if Amber hadn't survived long enough to tell someone, how many others hadn't been that lucky? They found the tapes 3 weeks later, hidden in a storage unit Daniel had rented under a fake name. Dozens of VHS cassettes, each labeled with a date and a number. The forensic team reviewed them in silence. I wasn't allowed to watch, but Ortiz told me enough. He documented everything, she said, her voice tight. Not just the crimes. The lead-up, the grooming, the manipulation. He wanted a record. What? Control. Power. Proof that he could do it and get away with it. Tape 14 was missing. The one from the week Amber disappeared. They never found it. But what they did find was worse. A calendar, meticulously maintained, showing his patterns. He'd taken someone every 6 to 8 months for the past 5 years. Amber had been number 7. And according to the calendar, he was already planning number 8. Where is he? I asked. Ortiz shook her head. Gone. No trace. No sightings. It's like he evaporated. Marcus leaned forward. He knew we were coming. Someone tipped him off. Ortiz's face went stone cold. That's what I'm afraid of. An internal investigation was launched, quietly behind closed doors. But the rumors spread fast. Someone in the department had protected Daniel Cole. And when Amber reported him, that person made sure the complaint disappeared. The press got wind of it a month later. Headlines exploded. Police ignored serial killer warning. Survivors plea dismissed by authorities. How many could have been saved? The department held a press conference. The sheriff stood at the podium, reading a prepared statement. We deeply regret any oversights in this case. An internal review is underway. We are committed to transparency and accountability. It was bullshit, and everyone knew it. Amber watched the conference from her safe house. I was there with her. When the sheriff finished, she stood up and turned off the TV. They're not sorry, she said. They're just sorry they got caught. Protests erupted outside the precinct. Bereaved survivors spray-painted across the steps. Families of the missing women demanded answers. Officers resigned. The sheriff was forced into early retirement. But Daniel Cole was still out there, still free. And Amber was still terrified. One night, she showed me a letter that had been slipped under her door. No postage, no return address. Just her name written in neat, careful handwriting. Inside, a single sentence. See you soon. She handed it to me with shaking hands. He knows where I am. I called Ortiz immediately. They moved Amber that night. New location, new identity. Witness protection. She disappeared into the system, just like Daniel had. The difference was she didn't have a choice. I couldn't let it go. Even after Amber vanished into protection, even after the case went cold, I kept looking. Marcus helped when he could, but he was limited. Officially, the investigation was ongoing. Unofficially, it was dead in the water. I started talking to people Daniel had known, neighbors, co-workers, anyone who'd cross his path. Most were shocked. He was so nice, they'd say, always willing to help. But a few remembered things. Little things. The way he'd lingered too long in conversations. How he'd asked too many questions about who lived alone, who had family nearby. One woman, an elderly church volunteer named Mrs. Calloway, told me something that made my skin crawl. He asked about our shut-ins, she said. The ones who couldn't make it to services. He wanted to visit them, bring them meals. I thought it was sweet. Did he? Oh yes. Every Sunday, he'd spend hours with them. I showed her photos of the missing women. She went pale. That's Naomi. She was one of our shut-ins. She went missing 2 years ago. We thought she'd moved away. Daniel had been hunting in plain sight, and everyone had helped him do it. I compiled everything I found into a file and sent it to Ortiz. She called me back the next day. You should have been a detective. I'm just a truck driver who got unlucky. No, she said. You're the only reason Amber's alive. Don't forget that. A year passed. Then two. The case faded from the headlines. Life moved on, the way it always does. But I couldn't forget. Every time I drove past Barker Road, I thought about that basement. About the women whose names we knew and the ones we didn't. Marcus called me one night, his voice tight. They found him. My heart stopped. Where? Oregon. Small town near the coast. He was using a different name, working as a maintenance man at a trailer park. Someone recognized him from the news. Is he in custody? He ran. Local cops chased him to a cliff overlooking the ocean. He jumped. I sat down hard. Did they find the body? Not yet, but the fall's over 200 feet onto rocks. No one survives that. I should have felt relief, but all I felt was hollow. So it's over. Looks like it, but it didn't feel over. It felt unfinished, like the last page of a book had been torn out. I tried calling Amber through her handler. They said she didn't want contact. I understood, but I wrote her a letter anyway, telling her what happened. I ended it with, "You were right. They didn't listen, but you survived, and that matters." I never heard back. 3 years after that night in the rain, I was driving the same route. Different truck, same stretch of highway. And I saw her, just for a second. A woman at a rest stop, filling a coffee cup. She had shorter hair, different clothes. But I knew her walk, knew her profile. I parked and got out. She was heading back to her car when I called out. "Amber." She froze, turned slowly. Her face was older, harder, but her eyes, those were the same. "You're not supposed to know that name," she said quietly. "I know. I'm sorry. I needed to see that you were okay." She looked at me for a long moment. Then she walked over. "I'm not okay, but I'm alive. That's more than some people got. Did you hear about Daniel?" I heard. Her voice was flat. "They said he's dead, but they said a lot of things." "You don't believe it?" She looked past me, toward the highway. "I don't know what I believe anymore. But I know this. He took something from me that I'll never get back. And whether he's dead or not, I still see him every time I close my eyes." I didn't know what to say to that, so I just nodded. She started to leave, then stopped. "Thank you for stopping that night, for believing me. I wish I could have done more. You did enough." She got in her car and drove away. I watched until her taillights disappeared. Back home, I pulled out the file I'd kept. Photos, reports, notes. Everything I'd collected over the years. I spread it across my kitchen table and stared at it. 6 women confirmed missing. 1 survivor, and a killer who might or might not be dead. Marcus came by that evening. He looked at the file and sighed. "You're still chasing this. Someone has to. Why? It's over. Let it go." Is it? We never found a body. We never found all the victims. And we never found out who protected him. Marcus sat down, rubbing his face. The internal investigation cleared everyone. Said it was procedural failures, not corruption. You believe that? He didn't answer. I leaned forward. Someone warned him. Someone made sure complaints disappeared. And that person's still out there, still wearing a badge. Marcus looked at me. Even if you're right, what are you going to do about it? I didn't have an answer, but I knew I couldn't stop. Not yet. Over the next 6 months, I kept digging. I found patterns in the evidence. Calls that were never logged, reports that were misfiled, witnesses who were never interviewed. And every trail led back to the same name, Deputy Thomas Vance. He'd been Daniel's handler in the volunteer program. He'd taken the initial complaint from Amber. And 3 months before Daniel disappeared, Vance had retired early with a full pension. I brought it to Ortiz. She listened, face grim. I can't touch him. He's protected. By who? Everyone. But Ortiz didn't give up. She quietly reopened the internal investigation, using my research as the foundation. It took another year, but eventually the case built itself. Vance had taken payments from Daniel. Small amounts, irregular, easy to hide. In exchange, he'd buried complaints, misdirected investigations, and warned Daniel when anyone got too close. When the arrest warrant came through, I was there, watched as they led Vance out of his house in handcuffs. He was older now, grayer, softer. He looked like someone's grandfather, not a man who'd helped a killer hunt. The trial was quick. Vance pleaded guilty to obstruction and accessory charges. He got 12 years. It wasn't enough. It would never be enough. But when the verdict came down, I thought of Amber, thought of Naomi and the others. And I thought about how close we'd come to never knowing the truth. Ortiz stood with me outside the courthouse. It's not justice, she said, but it's something. It's more than they had before. She nodded. You did that. You and your brother and a woman who refused to disappear quietly. I went home that night and burned the file. Every photo, every note. I'd carried it long enough. It was time to let someone else hold the weight. 5 years later, I got a letter. No return address. Postmarked from somewhere in the Midwest. Inside, a single page written in neat handwriting. You kept looking when no one else would. You made them listen. I don't know if that brings me peace, but it brings me something. Thank you. Hey, I read it 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it in my wallet. It's still there. I drive that same highway sometimes, late at night when the roads are empty. And every time I pass the spot where I first saw Amber, I slowed down. Just for a second. Just to remember. She told the truth. And almost killed her. But in the end, it saved her. Because someone stopped. Someone listened. Someone believed. And maybe that's all any of us can do. Stop. Listen. Believe. Before it's too late. The town tried to forget. Barker Road was bulldozed, paved over, turned into a community park. A small plaque was installed near the entrance, in memory of those lost. No names, no details, just a vague acknowledgement that something bad had happened here once. I visited on the opening day. Families walked dogs, kids played on new swings. The grass was green, the flowers bright. You'd never know what lay beneath. Marcus stood beside me. Think that's enough? For who? He didn't answer. We walked the perimeter. In the far corner, away from the playground, someone had left flowers. Fresh ones, recently placed. There was no card, no note. But I knew who they were for. I knelt down, touched the petals. She comes here, I said. Who? Amber. Or whatever her name is now. Marcus looked around. You think she's watching? I think she needed to see it. To know it's really gone. We stayed until the sun set. When we left, I glanced back once. And for just a second, I swore I saw someone standing by the flowers. A woman, head bowed, shoulders shaking. But when I blinked, she was gone. Maybe she was never there. Or maybe she was exactly where she needed to be. The missing women's families never got closure. Not really. Naomi's sister held a memorial service 5 years after her disappearance. I attended. So did Marcus and Ortiz. The room was small, the crowd smaller. Naomi's photo sat on an easel. Young, smiling, unaware of what was coming. Her sister spoke through tears. We'll never know what happened to her. Not really, but we know she didn't just leave. She didn't abandon us. Someone took her, and for a long time, no one cared enough to find out who. She looked at Ortiz. Thank you for caring, even if it was too late. Ortiz didn't respond. What could she say? After the service, families of the other victims approached us. They had questions, anger, grief. We answered what we could, but there were no good answers. Daniel had taken their loved ones, and the truth had gone with him off that cliff. One mother grabbed my arm. Did she suffer? I looked at her, this woman who'd spent years not knowing. And I lied. I don't think so. She nodded, tears streaming. Thank you. I walked out into the cold air, hands shaking. Marcus followed. That was kind, he said. It was necessary. We stood in silence, watching people file out. And I thought about all the lies we tell to make grief bearable. All the truths we bury to protect the living. Years passed. I got older. Marcus retired fully, moved to Florida. Ortiz made lieutenant, then captain. The case became a footnote in departmental history, a cautionary tale about missed warnings and institutional failures. But I never forgot. I still drove that route, still slowed down at the spot where it all began. And sometimes, late at night, I'd pull over and just sit there, listening to the rain, remembering the way Amber had looked, terrified, desperate, alive. One night, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello. A woman's voice. Quiet. Steady. It's me. I sat up. Amber. I don't use that name anymore. But yeah, it's me. Why are you calling? Silence. Then, I saw the park. The plaque. I wanted to say thank you. You already did. I know, but I needed to say it again. You saved my life. Not just that night, but after. When everyone said I was lying, you believed me. And that kept me alive. My throat tightened. Are you okay? She laughed softly. No, but I'm better. I have a life now. I go on mostly. I don't look over my shoulder as much. That's good. Is it? Because some days I feel like I'm just pretending. Like I'm playing a part in someone else's story. I understood that. You survived, Amber. That's not pretending. That's real. Another long silence. Then, I have to go. But I wanted you to know. You mattered. What you did mattered. So did you. The line went dead. I sat there holding the phone, staring out at the empty road. And for the first time in years, I felt something close to peace. I visited the park one last time before I moved away. The flowers were still there, faded but present. I knelt down, touched the grass. Somewhere beneath it, the foundation of that house still existed. Hidden, buried, but not gone. Evil doesn't disappear. It just gets covered over. And if we're not careful, it grows back. I thought about Daniel Cole, the friendly handyman, the trusted volunteer, the monster in plain sight. I thought about Deputy Vance, who chose loyalty over justice. And I thought about all the systems that failed, all the people who looked away. But I also thought about Amber, about her courage to run, to scream, to demand that someone listen, about her refusal to be forgotten. She didn't get justice. Not really, but she got something maybe more important. She got to live, and she got to tell her story, and someone heard it. I stood up, brushing dirt from my knees. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the park. Families were packing up, heading home. Life continued, as it always does. I walked back to my truck, got in, and drove away. I didn't look back. Marcus died 2 years later. Heart attack. Quick and painless, they said. I flew down for the funeral. The service was small. Family, a few old colleagues, me. Ortiz gave a eulogy, talking about his dedication, his integrity, his refusal to let cases go. He believed everyone deserved answers, she said, even when those answers were hard to find. After the service, she pulled me aside. He kept a file on Daniel Cole. Until the day he died, he was still looking. Did he find anything? No, but he never stopped trying. She handed me a small envelope. He wanted you to have this. Inside was a photo. Amber, standing by the flowers at the park. Her face was partially turned away, but you could see her expression, solemn, distant, searching. On the back, Marcus had written, "Some people survive." That's enough. I folded the photo carefully and put it in my wallet next to Amber's letter. That night, I sat in my hotel room and thought about everything we'd lost. Marcus, the victims, the years spent chasing shadows. And I thought about what we'd gained. One life, one survivor, one woman who refused to disappear. Was it enough? Maybe, maybe not, but it was all we had. I stopped driving trucks a year later. Took a job teaching at a community college. Basic writing, nothing fancy. My students were young, hopeful, unaware of how fragile safety really is. One semester, I assigned a project: research a case of injustice and write about it. Most students chose famous cases, wrongful convictions, civil rights violations. But one student, a quiet girl named Maya, chose Amber's story. She came to my office with questions. Did they ever find all the victims? No. Did the killer really die? Probably, but we'll never know for sure. She looked at me. Why did you help her? I thought about that, about the rain and the headlights and the way Amber had grabbed my wrist. Because someone had to. Maya wrote a powerful essay. She ended it with a question. How many Ambers are out there right now, screaming for help, and no one's listening? I gave her an A, and I thought about that question for a long time after. 10 years after that night in the rain, I got another letter. This one was different, handwritten, but in a child's script. Dear Mr. Carver, my mom told me to write to you. She said you saved her life. I don't really understand what that means, but she cries when she talks about it. So I wanted to say thank you. My mom is the best mom ever. I'm glad she's here. Sophie. I read it 3 times. Then I called the number on the envelope. Amber answered. You got the letter? Yeah. Her voice was different now. Lighter. Stronger. She's 8. Smart as hell. Loves soccer. You sound happy. I am. Most days. A pause. I never thought I'd get here. After everything, I didn't think I deserved it. You deserve everything good. She laughed softly. You sound like my therapist. Smart person. We talked for an hour. About her life, her daughter, her job as a teacher. She'd changed her name, moved states, built something new. And she'd done it without forgetting who she was or what she'd survived. Do you ever think about him? I asked. Every day. But not the way I used to. Now it's just a fact. Something that happened. It doesn't own me anymore. That's good. It is. Another pause. I wanted Sophie to know about you. To understand that when things are bad, someone might show up. Someone might stop. And that matters. You taught her that. Not me. We both did. When we hung up, I sat in the quiet and let myself cry. Not from sadness, but from something else. Relief, maybe, or hope. I'm 63 now. My hair's mostly gone, my knees hurt, and I can't drive more than a few hours without needing a break. But I still think about that night. Still see Amber's face in the headlights. Ortiz retired last year. We have coffee sometimes, talk about old cases. She told me the department finally issued a formal apology to Amber and the victims' families. It took 15 years, but it happened. Think it means anything? I asked. To them? Maybe. To us? Not much. She was right. Words can't undo what happened. Can't bring back the dead or erase the trauma. But there's something. An acknowledgement. A record. The park is still there. The plaque's faded. The flower's gone. But people still visit. Still leave tokens, stones, ribbons, notes. The town remembers, even if it doesn't want to. And somewhere, Amber is living her life. Raising her daughter. Teaching her classes. Surviving. That has to be enough. I drove past the park one last time before I moved out of state. The sun was setting, casting gold across the grass. Children played. Dogs barked. Life hummed along, indifferent to the ghosts beneath. I parked and walked to where the house used to stand. Knelt down, pressed my hand to the earth, and I thought about all the women who'd been taken, all the voices that had been silenced. But I also thought about the one who got away, the one who screamed loud enough that someone stopped. Someone listened. Someone believed. Amber told the truth when no one wanted to hear it. She survived when the odds said she shouldn't. And she turned that survival into something real, a life, a daughter, a future. The system failed her. The people who were supposed to protect her looked away. But she didn't disappear. She fought. And in the end, she won. Not completely. Not without scars. But she won. As I walked back to my truck, I thought about what Marcus had written on that photo. Some people survive. That's enough. Maybe it is. Maybe survival is its own kind of justice. Not perfect, not clean, but real. I got in, started the engine, and drove away. The park shrank in my rearview mirror, then vanished. But Amber's voice stayed with me. They're alive. She was right. They were. And that matters. That has to matter. If Amber's story taught us anything, it's that the truth doesn't always come easy, and it doesn't always come from the people we expect to listen. Sometimes it comes from a truck driver who chose to stop, an investigator who refused to let go, a survivor who screamed into the darkness until someone finally heard her. This is what we do here at True Crime Files Gist. We don't just tell stories. We honor the voices that were silenced, the survivors who fought back, and the ordinary people who became heroes when no one else would. These aren't just cases. They're warnings, reminders, proof that believing someone can save a life. If Amber's story moved you, if it made you angry, heartbroken, or hopeful, then you understand why this work matters. Hit that subscribe button, because every story we tell is another chance to say, we're listening. We believe you. You matter. Turn on notifications so you never miss a case. Leave a comment telling us whose story you want us to investigate next. And if you know someone who needs to hear Amber's story, someone who's been dismissed, ignored, or told they're lying, share this video. Because the next person who needs saving might be watching right now. This is True Crime Files Gist, where every voice deserves to be heard, and every truth deserves to be told. We'll see you in the next investigation. Stay safe out there.